versus a criminal, bike-stealing meth addict, which I'm 75%, she just told you she's the minority. Now you're saying you're going to house these people, your 550 school kids, with no drug testing, no work requirement.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
This is crazy. You're not going to cure, I voted for you. You're not going to cure homelessness like this until you separate meth, drug addicts from women and children and elderly. It's not going to serve you as a politician, and our community's not going to buy it. Separate it.
Thank you. I don't dismiss a single thing you said. I haven't come in here to tell you what the population is or isn't. I'm always a believer. Part of the reason I designed this, I said council members are closer than a mayor's community, a neighborhood council is closer than a council member, residents. Hold on. I listen very patiently, just listen. And the residents know the best. Their block, you know your truth better than anybody else.
Yes.
The core part
So
of
listen,
my belief.
please.
Are you
I
going
am
to listen
listening.
to us?
So if I'm more than happy to continue giving you an answer that is very specific to you.
Please do.
But it's difficult, you know, if I can't speak. The folks that we kind of want to just kind of put in neat categories, it's very difficult to. There are some that absolutely, I hope people heard at the beginning of this, the fact that you're not housed doesn't shield you from having to obey the law. Okay, I just want you to hear that from your mayor. Now that's different from, hold on, that's different from that we have the resources everywhere, every day to enforce every single law that's broken. Okay, that's the reality of, I think the chief can tell us that, you know, every jaywalker, every whatever. And this stuff is real, and I agree with you. It is deadly serious. Folks that are on meth right now, I don't know what we imagine society-wise long term, but you know, in my ideal world, and I'm sure yours, folks would go to jail, and during that time, they would get rid of their addiction, they would be turned around and be able to get out of jail, so they don't take my tax dollars by reoffending, you know, at 65% in this state. I started an office of reentry for the first time since Tom Bradley was mayor, to take people who are coming out of jail, because I didn't see the county or the state stepping up with many programs to make any difference. To say, what can we do at that moment when maybe they're sober because they've been behind bars, maybe they're thinking about their lives of not going back and getting high next day, by trying to either reunify them with families, get them a job. I'll tell you one story, we work with Caltrans, you know, people who go and then they do their probation or their parole, sometimes cleaning up the freeways. We said, why can't we make that permanent? With benefits, with health care, with something that would go out there. We did that with Caltrans, and guess what the recidivism rate in a state where 65% of those people will go back? It's 1.3% so far.
So how can you think this is going to be anything else than
Because they're not going back to jail right away, and there's not the resources. What I said, I wish that there were, I'm not disagreeing with you, but the reality of criminal justice reform, and it's a conversation we need to have in this state. I've been having, I'm one of the few politicians actually bring this up, especially one of the few Democrats, saying, the way we have implemented this has been totally screwed up. Okay? The money that we were supposed to save for people not being incarcerated, we don't see. And until the day that we do, we can. We can put all the resources on, arrest the heck out of folks. They will be back in a week.
I'm not saying arrest them. Why wouldn't you make the MTA law for seniors?
Because we didn't take care of the person who is the biggest problem. I'm open to that. If that's what the community wants, if that's what the council member wants. No. But I'm saying, so I agree with you.
Not the council member.
What do we do for those folks? We have so-called quote-unquote tweakers or transients or people who are using meth who are right now at the place at Olvera Street. Right now. To the community and the folks that are there, that are the merchants on Olvera Street, I can now look them in the eye and say, finally, after years that have failed, some of these folks are actually not coming back.
No, Mayor Garcetti, the merchants in Olvera Street are not happy.
I can walk you through. No.
I'll go with you.
There's some, but the majority of folks, I'm sure you can find one or two because I've talked to some of them. I know them almost one by one. But there's no question that it is not worse and it is better since that is over. I mean, what they are questioning about is the same thing as you.
Let me
They want to put all of
ask
these
you
on.
this. If the ultimate goal is to house people temporarily and then house them permanently, almost no one can afford to live in Venice now. I haven't lived in Venice since I bought here 20 years ago and I grew up here.
Solutions may or may not be in Venice. As you've seen, there's been shared housing that does work in Venice. There's other possibilities.
So why would
people
you
can
house
come together
them
with
here,
rooms.
block from the beach near schools?
I'm not bringing anybody here. This
It
is
will
not
bring
really
people
something.
here. Yes,
This
it
is not
will.
whether- Like, no, I truly, I want you to hear this, really, and we can disagree, and we'll speak hopefully civil about it. But the easiest thing politically to do is to walk away, right? To say, let's not do this. I believe in my bones, it will not be better here. We can even try to step up all the different things, the
Yes.
enforcement and the cleaning.
Yes.
Because
Please
we
do
have
it.
tried that in different years. There's been times.
Please do
where there's
it.
been surges and things like that. But in my experience, in talking to folks who have been the most successful in solving homelessness, they're saying, listen to us. Not listen to a mayor, not listen to a politician, listen to us about what works. And those are
We're
the folks.
oversaturated in Venice.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. I hope we can agree with you that that is the way to make sure, as we're experiencing downtown, that will be solved. Because I don't want to leave those folks that are the most either violent or dangerous or the toughest for you, the ones that you described, that I'm not disagreeing with your lived experience about, alone. And the police aren't going to be able to do it 100% by themselves. I guarantee you that.
Let them talk out.
Let me respond to the school area. Right now, in almost every neighborhood in Venice, near our schools and on our way to schools, there are people living on the sidewalks and in campus.
And they're still
The question is, do we want them living on the sidewalks in encampments without services? Or do we want to move them indoors with services
only
to house?
You cannot take encampments
That
down.
is the choice that we are offering an alternative to the status quo. Ma'am, we listened to your statements and I have an opportunity to respond. Thank you. The other thing is, while there is definitely a crime problem with some people,
With a lot of people.
I will be very clear that I am not going to dictate or implement a policy based on the assumption that everyone or the majority of people who are homeless are dangerous drug-addicted criminals. Because it is not true. Because it is not true.
They're white males.
Please. Well, so much. Please.
There are studies.
Even if there was X percentage that are, and there is a percentage, I don't know exactly what it is.
That's right. There you go.
We cannot.
Why don't you know?
We cannot refuse to help Wendy. We cannot refuse to help Rico, the veteran who was on the street
What
for
about
20
helping
years.
us?